It's interesting that we're talking about paralegals today. I wrote a book, it came out last year, it's called Power Writers. And it's all about court reporting stories, going from a very good court reporter to a power writer. And what we did was we interviewed about 15 different court reporters and captioners who have done special things within our field and also things that impacted the community at large. One of the fellows that we interviewed and wrote about was a guy named Marty Block. Marty is known in our field as the father of captioning. He was the fella, along with Jeff Hutchins, a computer geek, if you will, who developed captioning. So when you watch the nightly news and you see those things words scrolling across the bottom of the screen, that's a court reporter, more than likely, who is producing that. And the interesting story about that and the impact that captioning had on people was the very first time that Marty and his group at the National Captioning Institute took their program live and it started coming across someone's television screen. There was a woman and her family up in Maine, way up in the mountains of Maine, who the wife, the mother, was deaf. All the other family members could hear fine. And when they would watch television, the family would have to explain to their mother what was happening. And all of a sudden, one night, late at night, she and her husband were watching television, and the words started scrolling across the bottom of the screen. And she could not believe it. All of a sudden, instantly, she had understanding, she had access, she had opportunity. Her life changed in an instant. And those are the kind of people that we write about, and I wrote about in Power Writers, people who have really made an impact, not only in their profession, but in the greater world. And that's what I see paralegals doing. Not just impacting your world, within the law firm or within the department or whatever, but it's really reaching out beyond that and doing special things for the community as a whole. One of the questions that I had instantly when I learned about the theme of this was, well, what is a paralegal? Why do you want to be one? What's wrong with being a darn good paralegal? Why do you have to be a paralegal? So what does that mean to you to be a paralegal? What's missing right now that you need to reach a little higher for? Anything at all? What will being a paralegal bring you? What do you think? Yes, ma'am.
Satisfaction of helping others.
Satisfaction helping others and others' focus is great. Did somebody else have a comment?
I said the same thing out. It's the knowledge that as you grow, you're able to pass that on to the next paralegal to make a perfect paralegal.
Yep.
So I think it's transferable.
It's great. It's interesting. I realized that I was, if you will, a power writer when I was asked to report the initial court appearance of John Hinckley, the young man who who attempted to assassinate President Reagan way back there. That's when I had the feeling inside that I was a little bit different, that I had risen above, just like a paralegal does. The people that Joel was talking about a little while ago. It's bringing that something extra special, knowing inside that you can handle any situation, no matter how stressful it is, you've got the capability to handle it. And the way I got to that point was this. I started out in life as a very shy, I guess is a good word for it, lacking in self-esteem, lacking in confidence, young person. I grew up in a small town. My dad was a steel worker. My mom worked in a textile mill. I never saw a lawyer until I got into court reporting school. The only other professional I saw besides my teacher was my doctor. The only reason I saw him was because I played on the football team and he was the one who did the physicals. I wouldn't have known him had it not been for that, more than likely. So I had a long way to go in development. And what helped me overcome that was what I call silent communication, what I now call outfluence. And for me, one of the things my parents gave me was a nice smile and a good friendly approach to things. and also strong work ethic. And that's what I brought to my career. I could not communicate with a lawyer or a judge, forget it, when I was a young court reporter. So I focused on doing the very best that I could and being as helpful as I could to my employers or my clients. And interestingly, I'll jump ahead a little bit here because this is important to this part of it. About 15 years ago, I had an opportunity to talk to my clients about why they hired me. What was it about me or my company that made them want to use our services? Hey Rob, can you give me a hand with this if you don't mind? I just want to tell you what they told me, because it all has to do with silent communication. That's when the light bulb struck. If you can turn this page, this first page, Rob, and just kind of hold it up for me. This is Rob Leonard, by the way. Rob is our Director of Marketing at Albets and Associates. And before I forget it, I want to tell you that if you get to play it. Well, let me say it anyway, because I may get to play it later. Rob is the leader of the Blue Moon Big Band. They are a dynamite organization. His wife is the lead singer for the group. They've played all over the country, including right here, Rob tells me. And so they're dynamite, if you like that kind of music, and we all do. They're great. Here's what my clients told me. They trusted me. They appreciated my responsiveness. I always met their expectations, and I always said yes. Thanks, Rob. And I would imagine if you asked your clients or your employers what it is that makes you so valuable to them, those are probably about the same things that they would say. And I got to that point, I realized that those were all silent things. These weren't things that I could just say, oh yeah, you can trust me. You know, they're not going to, it comes to performance. Responsiveness, being responsive when they call, delivering on time, when they expect it. Those are things that you do over the course of time. You do it quietly, they notice it, and they begin to say, okay, well, I can rely on this guy, I can trust this guy, that he can deliver. And so it's all silent communication. And so then I began to think, well, what else do I do silently that is having an impact on them? Because this obviously, what I've been doing has really worked. So let's keep this going. And the upshot of all that was I thought about it for a long time. I started to put it down on paper, and I wrote it in a book called Outfluence. And Outfluence basically is taking all those good things that you have inside, who you are as a person, and not keeping them in there, but letting it out, sharing it with people. One of the things I do when I meet somebody for the first time, I try to be, bring it all to the table so they know exactly who I am. I'm not holding anything back. I'm not hiding anything. This is who I am. Either you like me or you don't. And that's cool. But you put it right out there. And it's amazing what comes back. Sometimes people are a little standoffish. They say, whoa, what is this guy? But other people reach right out and they embrace that. And those are the people that I want to outfluence, if you will. Those are the people that I want to get close to because they're open and they're honest. And I think that's what it takes to be outfluential. It also takes being thoughtful and purposeful and genuine about it. It's not the kind of thing where you're just, kind of kissing up to people to get whatever you want out of them. When I outfluence somebody, if you will, it's because I want them to be my friend, or I want them to be my customer. I have a genuine interest in them. I have a respect for them, and hopefully they'll have a respect for me. And that is what I think a paralegal really is. It's getting to that point, as Joel said, when people come to the office, you're dealing with your clients, you know how to treat them, you're aware of what they need, you can read their silent communication a little bit, and you can respond appropriately and let them feel good when they leave your presence. I think that's really what it's all about.